The air around Loch Ness held a timeless quality, a misty shroud that seemed to cradle secrets older than human memory. The water, deep and dark, mirrored the overcast sky, hiding untold mysteries beneath its glassy surface. To the untrained eye, it was a picturesque Scottish loch, but for those who dared to dream and fear, it was something far more. Dr. Eleanor Ellie Forsyth stepped off the small boat and onto the rocky shore, her heart a mix of trepidation and excitement. A marine biologist by trade, Ellie had spent years chasing the unknown. Her career had taken her to the depths of the Mariana Trench and the coral reefs of the Caribbean, but this was different. This was personal. Ellie's grandfather, Angus Forsyth, had been a Loch Ness devotee, spending decades documenting the loch's unique ecosystem. His journal, passed down to Ellie after his death, spoke of unexplained phenomena. Sightings of something massive gliding beneath the surface, vibrations felt through the hulls of boats, and a pervasive sense of being watched. Though his notes were dismissed as the ramblings of an old man obsessed with a legend, Ellie had always felt there was truth in his words. She looked around at her small team, a mix of scientists and documentarians who had joined her for this expedition. There was Dr. Marcus Steele, an oceanographer with a reputation for skepticism, Arya Malik, a cryptozoologist whose passion for legendary creatures bordered on obsession, and Ryan Carter, a filmmaker documenting the journey. Each carried their own hopes, fears, and doubts about what they might find. "The weather's holding for now," Marcus said, checking his handheld barometer. "Let's get the equipment set up before the wind shifts." Ellie nodded, directing the team as they unloaded sonar equipment, underwater cameras, and sampling tools. Their goal was to map the loch's depths and, if fortune favored them, capture evidence of the creature known as Nessie. The first 2 days passed without incident. The team catalogued fish species, measured water temperatures, and recorded the loch's eerie silence, a quiet so profound it seemed to press against their ears. At night, they gathered around a portable heater, sharing stories and theories. Arya was the most animated, weaving tales of ancient Celtic folklore and the possibility of a prehistoric creature surviving in the loch's unique conditions. "It's not impossible," she argued, her eyes alight with excitement. "The coelacanth was thought to be extinct for millions of years until we found it alive and well. Who's to say Nessie isn't a similar anomaly?" Marcus scoffed. "An anomaly hiding in a loch that's been studied for decades? Unlikely. What we're more likely to find are misidentified sturgeons or debris." Ellie listened quietly, her mind returning to her grandfather's journal. Angus had written of strange occurrences that defied logic, of shadows that moved against the current and a presence that felt alive. As the conversation around her turned to logistics for the next day's dive, Ellie resolved to follow a lead she'd kept to herself. On the third morning, Ellie ventured out alone in a small motorized boat, carrying only a waterproof bag with her grandfather's journal, a handheld sonar device, and a GoPro strapped to her chest. She followed the coordinates Angus had circled in red ink, a section of the loch he called the Hollow. The water grew unnervingly calm as she approached. The surface, usually rippled by wind, was mirror-like, and the sonar device began to emit irregular pings. Ellie's pulse quickened. She adjusted the device, but the readings made no sense. They indicated a massive, moving object deep below, something far larger than any known fish or vessel. She leaned over the side, her eyes scanning the murky depths, when a shadow passed beneath the boat. It was brief but unmistakable, a large, serpentine shape gliding with purpose. Ellie fumbled for her camera, recording as she called out, "Hello? Is someone there?" The rational part of her knew how absurd it was to speak, yet the words escaped her lips as if compelled by the loch itself. The shadow reappeared, closer this time, circling the boat. The water's surface bulged, and Ellie gasped as a sleek, scaled head broke through, its eyes intelligent and ancient. For a moment, she and the creature regarded each other in a silence that felt both eternal and fleeting. And then it was gone, disappearing beneath the waves with a splash. Ellie sat frozen, her heart pounding. She knew she'd seen something extraordinary, but the question was what it meant. When Ellie returned to camp, her demeanor alarmed the team. Her hands trembled as she replayed the footage on Ryan's laptop. The video was grainy but undeniable. A large, moving creature with features that defied classification. Marcus's skepticism faltered, and even he couldn't dismiss what they'd captured. "This changes everything," Ryan whispered, already envisioning the headlines. "We need to go back with more equipment, maybe even contact a larger research team." "No," Ellie said firmly. "This stays between us for now. If we bring in outsiders, it could turn into a circus. We owe it to the creature to learn more without disturbing its habitat." Arya nodded in agreement. "If this is Nessie, it's more than a discovery. It's a piece of history, of life itself." Over the next week, the team focused their efforts on the Hollow, using every tool at their disposal. The sonar detected movement at irregular intervals, always just out of reach. The underwater cameras captured fleeting glimpses of something massive and sinuous, but never enough for conclusive identification. Meanwhile, Ellie began experiencing vivid dreams. Visions of the creature swimming through vast underwater caverns and of symbols carved into stone. Her grandfather's journal mentioned similar dreams, describing them as the call of the Loch. Ellie shared her experiences with Arya, who suggested they might be connected to the ancient Celtic belief that Loch Ness was a sacred place, a portal between worlds. What if the creature isn't just an animal? Arya mused. What if it's a guardian, protecting something deeper? Ellie didn't know what to believe, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of uncovering something profound. One night, as the team prepared to rest, the ground beneath their campsite trembled. The loch's surface churned violently, and a low, resonant sound filled the air, a sound that seemed to emanate from the water itself. The team rushed to the shore, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. "Look!" Marcus shouted, pointing to the center of the loch. A series of glowing orbs rose from the depths, forming a pattern that resembled the symbols Ellie had seen in her dreams. The orbs pulsed in rhythm, and the creature surfaced once more, its body illuminated by the ethereal light. Ellie stepped forward, her instincts urging her closer. She spoke softly, not knowing if the creature could understand but feeling compelled to try. "We're not here to harm you. We want to understand." To her astonishment, the creature tilted its head, as if acknowledging her words. The orbs grew brighter, and Ellie felt a strange warmth envelop her. In that moment, she saw flashes of images, the loch as it was millennia ago, teeming with life, humans arriving and building settlements, and a pact made between the creature and an ancient tribe to protect the loch's secrets. The vision ended abruptly as the orbs dimmed and sank back into the depths. The creature lingered for a moment longer before following, leaving the team in stunned silence. The next day, Ellie and the team reviewed their footage and data. The symbols matched carvings found in ancient Scottish ruins, suggesting a connection between the creature and early civilizations. They realized their discovery was not just about a legendary monster but about the intricate relationship between humans and the natural world. Ellie decided to share their findings with the world, but carefully, emphasizing conservation and respect for the loch's ecosystem. The footage and data sparked global fascination, reigniting debates about the mysteries of Loch Ness and the stories we tell to make sense of the unknown.